Hey everyone, it's Tracy from Force Cult, and today I'm going to be reviewing John Jackson Miller's A New Dawn.
Reading is a path to the smart side of the Force.
It is the first novel in what is going to be the unified canon for Star Wars. This means that all of our old favorites are going to be transitioning into legends, and we're going to be moving forward with new stories, new characters, and new novels. So this was a very strong start, in my opinion. I got the book at San Diego Comic-Con. It took me a couple weeks to read, and I just finished, and I have to say, overall, I was very impressed. A little bit of background, it introduces us to the two kind of lead characters in Star Wars Rebels, the animated series that's going to be on Disney Channel in October. Disney XD, I'm sorry, to be exact. So we get an introduction to Hera Syndulla, who is a captain. She's a Twi'lek. And Kanan, he's a human, and it has a past as a Jedi. So we don't know too much. It's both characters are very mysterious. John Jackson Miller does a really great job of kind of introducing us in terms of where they are within the story. We don't get too many flashbacks. We get a couple of Kanan kind of looking back into his Jedi past in a very interesting manner, but we're not given their whole story. So it's still mysterious. It makes you want to keep reading. It makes us want to learn more about them. We're basically thrown into this moment where we're transitioning away from the Republic, and now we have the Empire. The Empire is very new. We're introduced to the Empire through the eyes of Rey Sloane. She is the captain on the Ultimatum. It is a Star Destroyer. She's actually probably my favorite character in the book, to be honest. I just think she's very interesting and dynamic. I think it's fascinating that Miller chose a female captain. That's kind of always my favorite part about the expanded universe is that you get stories told from a female perspective, and he kind of carried on that tradition. So that was exciting for me. I think that you see Sloane really struggling with what the Empire is evolving into from the Republic. She's really trying to learn how to really go away because the Republic isn't a thing anymore, really trying to adapt to this new way of doing things where they flat out say they have a motto that the old ways are gone, the old ways are done, everything's the new way. So you're really seeing a sort of totalitarian regime take over. And you know, she kind of is the voice of reason or the voice of kind of people trying to adjust to that. So you get to see that through her eyes. It's very fascinating. Another person you get to see struggling with kind of the same things is Zaluna. She is sort of the TSA agent, if you will. So she has been doing surveillance for most of her life and for years and years, and she did it for the Republic. And unlike Sloane, she has a very, very hard time adjusting to the cruelty of the Empire and their sort of slave mentality and their imperialism. She remembers a time where she's much older than Sloane, so she remembers a time where the Republic was very altruistic. She, reminisces about the Jedi and sort of their way of helping people, and what she remembers sort of what the Republic represented or in its most ideal form. So you get really these great moments of watching or reading, I suppose, the Empire kind of grow out of the Republic and transition. You have to see these characters grapple with that, and it's very fascinating. So beyond just Hera and Kanan, you get some fascinating characters and some really great stories and perspectives. Kanan, awesome. I joke on Twitter that he's my new Force crush because he's a Jedi or a former Jedi and a bartender. So for me, that was really cool. He's just rough around the edges and gritty, and but he ends up doing the right thing because it's his nature, but not being overt about it. He's not Superman. He doesn't go charging in with these lofty ideals. He just does what he has to do for people, and it makes him a very endearing character because he feels very real, and you feel his kind of struggle with letting go of his past and figuring out how to be a different person without the Jedi Order and without the Republic, and really trying to find a place for himself in this new world without this discipline. You have to imagine that being a Jedi, your whole path is set out for you, and all of a sudden he doesn't have that anymore. And on top of that, everyone he's respected and been mentored by has been killed. So he suffered a great loss. He's having to deal with that. And, you know, Miller is very subtle in the way that he presents the backstories. It's very true to Star Wars and very true to the tradition of putting you in a moment and kind of letting you fill in the spaces. So I have to commend him for that. His writing is dead on for me. It felt a lot like some of, you know, the expanded universe novels that I'm familiar with, but I also think that there were moments where it was a little bit sharper and more concise, and I really appreciated that. As far as Hera goes, Hera's story is probably my singular, not complaint, but issue in the novel. I really wanted to know more about Hera. I feel like the glimpses you got of Hera were through Kanan's eyes, and we know that she's beautiful. We know that she's a sort of ingenue. We know that she's an amazing captain. But I want to know more about her as a person beyond just being this like enigmatic, beautiful person. I want to know kind of more of her backstory, which I'm sure was intentional. I'm sure there's going to be more novels, and we have, you know, Star Wars Rebels to look forward to, where we're going to kind of flesh out her story more. But the parts that we did get to see of her in the book, she's great. She's very, you know, dynamic character. She's fascinating. You want to know more about her. So I don't really have that as a complaint. It was just kind of the one thing that as I was reading was lacking for me. The story moves along fast. The story, you know, it has a great climax. There's a lot going on, in general. So I recommend the book. I think that it read well. I read through it really fast, and I think it kept true to a lot of what I expect from a Star Wars story. So I have to commend Miller for that and say thanks. And I'm actually I'm very optimistic about a new unified canon, because I think we have a lot to look forward to. And I think that it's going to provide the opportunity to tell some really great stories. And this is hopefully the first of many. So thanks for watching. If you have any feedback for me about the review or any questions, leave some comments on the video. Subscribe to forcescult.com. Find me on Twitter @feministnerd. And yeah, thanks.